You ever see a moment so awkward, so brutal, that every single person in the room just freezes? I'm talking about the kind of thing where the air goes dead and suddenly nobody remembers how to breathe. That happened. So picture this. We're at one of those ridiculous parties at the Pierce Mansion, the kind where the chandeliers look like they cost more than your house, and the wine flows like someone's trying to drown the memory of their last divorce. And then, right when everyone's feeling themselves, Jonathan Pierce's Mistress steps out and does the unthinkable. She mocks Ava Pierce, the wife, in front of the whole city's elite, makes a snide little joke about Ava's stretch marks. You know, right where she knew it would sting. Just like that, all the fake laughter evaporates, and you could almost hear a career or two dying quietly in a corner. Here's where it gets wild. By the next night, Kamala had walked in acting like she owned the place was out on the curb. No more penthouse, no more sugar daddy, no more power. You want to know how it all came crashing down? Let me back up a sec. Ava used to think her life was something out of a magazine: big house, beautiful daughter, a husband everybody envied. The kind of man who could buy half the city before breakfast, the kind of guy people lined up to shake hands with. But behind those marble floors and custom heels, Ava was just tired. Tired of the parties, the whispers, the game. She'd come a long way from being that college kid serving soup at a shelter now. She was supposed to be Mrs. Pierce, with every move scrutinized by women who'd sooner stab you with a stiletto than let you outshine them. She wore the role well enough, sure smiling for photos, chairing galas, hugging Jonathan's arm at whatever charity event his publicist decided they needed to hit. But the truth was, she felt alone. Motherhood left her with a few scars, literal and otherwise, and even though she loved her little girl, Lena, it was obvious she'd never quite be part of the same world as those other wives, the ones with not a hair or a marriage out of place. Jonathan? He drifted. Once upon a time, he was captivated by her, said she made him want to be a better man, blah, blah, blah. But lately he was all business trips and secrets, glancing at his phone like it was about to deliver the meaning of life. And then the rumors started. Camila. The name floated around at every lunch, every tennis match, every carefully staged event. Ava wanted to believe it wasn't true. But deep down, she felt it coming. That brings us to the party, the night it all blew up. Jonathan had just closed some massive deal, so he decided to throw the kind of bash people would still be whispering about next season. Everyone was there. Celebrities, politicians, the kind of tech bros who only smile when they're winning. The house looked like a magazine spread. Staff running around in white gloves, rare orchids flown in from wherever rich people get their orchids, caviar that probably had its own trust fund. Ava greeted guests with her best, everything's fine smile, but she saw the looks, heard the little pauses in conversation when she walked past. And then Camila arrived, late and dramatic, like she was stepping onto a runway. Tall, gorgeous, wrapped in emerald silk, eyes that said she'd never heard the word no. She swept into the room and headed straight for Jonathan and Ava, purring congratulations on the new deal, flashing a smile that was all teeth and zero warmth. It was like watching a lioness circle a wounded gazelle. For a while, Camila floated through the crowd, charming everyone, making it look easy. But you could feel the tension everyone did. And then, while everyone was still riding the high from the deal, Camila decided to go in for the kill. She found Ava surrounded by a little group of admirers, friends, business types, a few hangers-on. Camila made some casual-sounding comment about how children change our bodies, and then boom calls out Ava for wearing more modest swimsuits these days. We should all embrace our little imperfections, right? Stretch marks, wrinkles, those sorts of things. She let it hang there, smiling like she'd just handed out a compliment instead of a grenade. Yeah, that happened. The room went silent. People looked at their shoes. Someone cleared their throat. Ava just stood there, feeling like she'd been stripped naked in her own living room. For a second, she thought about firing back, but before she could say a word, her best friend Sophia jumped in, voice sharp as a razor, saying that being a mother's a badge of honor, not a flaw. Camila just shrugged, all innocence, but everyone knew what she'd done. Jonathan? He watched the whole thing, didn't lift a finger. Just stood there while his mistress torched his wife in front of half the city. that hurt almost more than the insult. After the party, the house was quiet too quiet. Ava tried to hold it together, but it all came spilling out. She told Jonathan exactly how she felt. Humiliated, betrayed, angry. He tried to brush it off, said Camila was provocative and important for business, but Ava was done pretending. Even Sophia, who'd stayed late to help clean up, told her not to keep swallowing her pride. You have every right to defend yourself, she said. If Jonathan won't, you should. That night, Ava made a decision. No more silence. She would stand up for herself, for her daughter, for her dignity. She confronted Jonathan the next morning, made it crystal clear she was done being his doormat. For a moment, it looked like he got it. He promised to cut Camila off, to kick her out of their lives for good. But Camila wasn't done yet. The very next day, she showed up at the house, strutting up the driveway like she still owned the place. Ava met her in the rose gardener's space, her rules. There, with the scent of 100 blooming roses in the air, Ava finally let Camila have it. Told her to leave, told her she'd never be anything more than a footnote in Jonathan's story. Never a wife, never a mother, never someone who'd matter in the long run. Camila tried to threaten her, said she'd ruin Jonathan, ruin everything. But as she was talking, her phone buzzed a message from Jonathan himself. He'd made his choice. Camila was out. No more access, no more invites, no more money, nothing. You should have seen the look on her face. All that bravado, gone in an instant. Security escorted her out, and just like that, the queen of the scene was out on the street. No more parties, no more power, and every so-called friend vanished overnight. Word got around quick: if you live by humiliation, you die by it too. Now, don't get me wrong, Ava didn't come out of it unscathed. Her marriage was still shaky, trust in short supply, and she had scars that would never fully heal. But she found something else: her own strength, the power to say enough. Jonathan tried to fix things, spent more time at home, praised her work, tried to be a better husband and dad. Maybe it'll last, maybe it won't. But Ava knew she'd never again let anyone, husband, mistress, or society define her worth. So what's the real moral here? If you've ever been mocked for your scars, your story, your so-called imperfections, just remember Ava's story sometimes. The very thing someone uses to shame you is the same thing that proves you survived. Don't let anyone take that from you. Now, I want to hear from you. What do you think? Can love really survive betrayal? Or is trust gone for good once it's broken? What would you have done if you were Ava or even Jonathan? Drop your take below. Argue it out. I'll be reading. And if you want more stories like this, you know what to do.